What's up, sons? It's Blind Rod with Tech once again, and I am happy to be back. I've been off for about a week from the YouTubes, and I apologize, but we had some other stuff to do, and I also got some gaming done over on twitch.tv/sonofatech_. I hope you guys will enjoy this, and it's basically a leak. I do question it a little bit, and I'll tell you guys why here in a second. There are some good things about it that might hint towards it being accurate, and a couple things where I'm like, maybe that's not quite right. But we have leaks for the Ryzen 3 2300X right after this. Welcome back. So if you guys aren't familiar with Zen Plus, it's not quite Ryzen 2, but it is going to be basically an improvement upon the original Zen. We've tested the Ryzen 7 2700 on this channel, and while we have tested the 2400 and 2200G, I don't quite feel like those were actually Ryzen Plus or Zen Plus. If they were, at least, well, they kind of are, but they're more along the lines of what would be the 1200 equivalent or the, of course, 1500 equivalent. There's not really going to be a huge improvement of those over the previous gen. It does look like what they're doing with the X series now in Zen Plus is essentially giving us a 200 to 300 megahertz boost over the previous gen X's, as well as over the current gen kind of supplements for those. So it pretty much will go 1200, 1300X, and then 1400, 1500X. That aside, we did get a leak of the new CPU coming out from AMD that's going to go head-to-head essentially with the new i3s. So you're going to have a quad-core processor, and this one in particular does have the XFR on it, and from all looks of it on all of the CPU-Z screenshots that were shown, it was running at 4.3 gigahertz. Now, it was running that at 1.38 volts, so it's a little high, and I'm not sure if they left that stock or what, and I'm not sure exactly what cooler was on it. We did get a BIOS screenshot, which is good news, meaning that this leak is probably valid. However, if we take a look at the Cinebench score, they did one of those kind of sketchy things where they screen capped it after the fact, so it means essentially that they ran the score, closed it, and then reopened the application. And you can tell this because the score itself does not have the highlighted field over the actual CPU score. And that's a little concerning because all you really have to do is edit some text files. I'll link a video up here from Keith at WCCF Tech going over how you can basically cheat the Cinebench to show that it's a different processor that's not even out yet. Like I said, it's good that he took a screen cap, of course, of the BIOS, and then he does have the CPU-Z score. So the first thing to talk about here is going to be the Cinebench score, and taking a look at that, we saw a score of 609. Now, we don't know what the memory's running at currently. I would assume it's a safe bet to think that it's probably running around that 3200 megahertz or at least over 2666, and it's going to be a decent probably dual channel kit as well. Now, on that point, I do run personally the FlareX 3200 megahertz, and in my previous test with the 1300X as well as the 2200G, we were seeing a score of about 558 or so. He did not do a single threaded benchmark on these, so I'm kind of upset because I'd like to see, of course, what that is. Now, we do have a single threaded score for CPU-Z, and on CPU-Z, the single threaded score came out to 508. While the multi-threaded came out to just over 20,000. So pretty good stuff here. Is that even right? Yeah, to 20,000. Alrighty, so I had to sit back down because I was just shocked as I was editing the video that I got the Cinebench score so wrong at 609. And the second take look at that multi-threaded score on, of course, CPU-Z, I was like, holy smokes, this CPU, if true, is pretty incredible. You're talking about, just to give you guys an idea, on the 8350K, which is the current competitor, or would be the current competitor from Intel, you're seeing a stock score of about 660. So you're seeing a 30 more points for the Ryzen counterpart or quad core that will come in significantly cheaper than what Intel offers currently. Now, I did state earlier that of course they can manipulate these scores, and because he did not have that orange mark there across the actual score itself in Cinebench, that could be off, but being backed up by 20,000 in the CPU-Z multi-threaded, which is a little bit harder to fake, means that I'm actually getting pretty excited about this CPU, and I really am looking forward to using it for gaming. There will be essentially no reason to buy any Intel counterpart that's basically within the general consumer market, especially with the strength of the 2700X coming back. And if the 2300X comes in at that $130 price point, it's just going to be incredible, especially if you take a look at a majority of the games using about quad core and not needing much more. You're going to get a really good gaming experience on a rig that's going to cost half as less as it even did CPU wise 2 years ago. So pretty incredible stuff here. Really looking forward to it. I hope it's true. Like I said, it could be faked, and that's one of those things where these leaks are really hard to do because they don't really hold water until I can personally get my hands on them. Now, I do want to get my hands on a 2600X or 2700X. I do really regret testing the 2700 first. Maybe if I could even trade that for a 2600X, if one of you guys are interested, you can let me know in the comment section below, because I would be really interested in turning some of those threads off before this comes out, or I'll probably end up just picking one of these up by then and seeing exactly what it's able to do or capable to do with the improvements that we've seen from XFR, and I guess just the binning of the silicon for Zen Plus. It's pretty impressive stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This could really be a huge blow to Intel's market, in my humble opinion. The Ryzen in general, of course, already has been, don't get me wrong, but when you're talking about a gaming-centric position here that I'm taking, that's pretty incredible. Also, I forgot to mention that it does have 8 megabytes of L3 cache, so that's 2 megabytes of cache per core, which is really awesome that they didn't cut that down any further. So, of course, that's the same previously, but good to point out. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter for more, or at least to keep up to date. And come watch my live streams at twitch.tv/sonofatech_. I'll see you next Tuesday.